Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. I can't go any further than that because then we'd have to pay Rogers and Hammerstein's estate. We don't want to do that. Happy Friday. Good to see you. 21st day of February 2020. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. As you can see behind me, we have another beautiful morning in store for you with that peach-colored salmon copper kind of sky. Gorgeous sunrise. It's been up for about 5 minutes. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Clouds will start rolling in, high clouds later on this afternoon. Kind of a mixed bag over the weekend. Could even get a stray snowflake. It could happen Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Forecast details are right around the corner. We got highlights of a very impressive victory for the Wenatchee Panthers last night. The boys advanced in the District 6 4A tournament. They knocked off Davis. Our cameras were there. We got highlights, and that sets up a great basketball game that we will have for you tomorrow night as the Eastmont Wildcats host the Wenatchee Panthers in boys basketball. The winner moves on to state. The loser of their season is over. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere at the Eastmont Gymnasium. And if you can't make it, we'll have it for you right here live on the NCW Live channel. Pre-game at 5:45 tomorrow and tip-off at 6 o'clock. Plus everything else you're used to on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got some beautiful views I'm sure Megan has in store for us. So let's take a look at what we got. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. I could just look at that all day. I've had any number of viewers say, this is my favorite part of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, is when we take our high-definition cameras and fire them up and take a little tour, and I don't blame them. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. As I mentioned before, sunrise was at 6:56. Sun will go down at 5:33. That buys us 10 hours and 37 minutes of daylight. Yesterday's high, 44 degrees. That's about where we're going to be today. Camera number 2. Where are we off to, Megan? Yeah, we're gonna take a visit up to, is that the Waterville camera? Waterville camera looking down over the mighty Columbia River. The snow continues to recede from the upper elevations, but they're gonna get another dose. Definitely gonna get some snow in the upper elevations this weekend. No question about that. Pass is gonna get a lot of snow, at least a little bit down here in the Wenatchee Valley. Stunning view from the Waterville camera. I love the fact that we can move these cameras around. Pan, tilt, zoom. It is gorgeous. Good stuff, Megan. All right, I am 2 for 2. Let's see if I can go 3 for 3, guessing what we're looking at. That's the Blag Mountain camera. Yay! Hello to our friends high above Pesheston. Leavenworth is down there hanging around. Speaking of Leavenworth and North Central Washington, Congresswoman Kim Schreier, who represents us, the United States Congress, is going to be in North Central Washington this weekend. Jefferson Robbins, our reporter, will be visiting with the Congresswoman. We'll have a story on that on Monday's news. By the way, there are 2 public events. One of them is tonight at the Wenatchee Community Center, right down the street from our studios. And then she'll be doing a walking tour of downtown Wenatchee. The Congresswoman will on Saturday. Heads up there. Good morning to Leavenworth, which is down there. Finally, camera number 4. She threw me for Cole's Corner. Hey, thank you very much. So that would be, I'm thinking to the right, would be the Lake Wenatchee area, I'm assuming, and that probably is Dirty Face off in the distance. It's an angle I'm not 100% sure of, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at over there. It's the Lake Wenatchee area, and a gorgeous sunrise there, too. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful area. This is why people live here. When I interviewed Jefferson Robbins, our reporter, he moved from Illinois, which is about as flat as you can get. And I said, why Illinois to Washington State? He says, I like mountains and trees. And we do too. 4 minutes after the hour. Let's take a look at a little slide at the National Weather Service Center our way. Talking about some snow, they are very confident that there's going to be moderate to heavy snow over the mountains. So it's going to be difficult travel conditions, especially on Sunday on the mountain passes, Snoqualmie, Stevens, wherever. We'll taper off Monday morning, as you can see there. They're not real sure about how much snow we're going to get Sunday morning into the valleys. The snow is expected to come down, if we get any at all, very early Sunday morning, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. till about 7 or 8 a.m. That's your time window for snow. I don't think we're going to get much. Grant thinks we might get a little bit of skiff. Whatever we're going to get is not going to last very long because we're looking at highs in the mid-40s on Sunday from Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They give your home a hug. Here's what we're looking at. Again, the clouds will be thickening up as the day goes on. That big dome of high pressure is already beginning to shift off to the east. It's over Wyoming and Kansas now. Heading away. It's going to allow a weak weather system. It's a weak storm system is expected to bring us some clouds. So as the day progresses, the clouds will be thickening up. We'll top off at 45 degrees, 31 for the overnight low tonight, because we'll have the blanket on, 48. Again, mixture of clouds and sun on Saturday. Sunday, well, here we go. Again, snow, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., Saturday night into Sunday morning. The snow level will be about 1,800 feet. We're not expecting any real accumulation at all, and whatever we get is going to be long gone by Sunday afternoon, as we're going to top off at 46 degrees. A little bit of light snow, possibly mixed with rain by about 9 or 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Then by Sunday afternoon, we're looking at rain. Also a little bit of wind on Sunday as the storm system comes through our area. Again, it's not packing a big punch, but it is going to cloud us up and bring us some precipitation. Sunday night, it exits the area. The snow level is going to get down there, but we're not expecting anything on Sunday night. And then a beautiful stretch of weather Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No complaints at all there. I'm liking that. So there you go. Few high clouds Friday and Saturday. Cloudy, rainy on Sunday. Back to the sunshine on Monday. Let's take you up to the major mountain passes. It's been very quiet all week long up in the Cascades. And once again, nothing at all to worry about. No advisories, no restrictions on I-90. Buckle up, down the road you go. Looking good. Bare and dry on Stevens Pass, but they got to clean that lens. That just drives me nuts. Just somebody grab a ladder and go up there and clean it. Anyway, no advisories, no restrictions on Stevens Pass. You're good to go there. And of course, Blewett. It's easy. No problems at all. No snow in the mountain passes until Saturday night, and only on Saturday night they're going to get just a couple of inches. That's it. The big story snow-wise will be Sunday, looking at 4 to 8 inches of fresh snow in the Cascades on Sunday, and then an additional 3 to 7 inches of snow in the Cascades on Sunday night into Monday, and then they dry off just like we will. So Sunday afternoon into Sunday night will be the most difficult travel conditions if you're heading up into the mountains. It's 7 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break and come back with your Friday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 10 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I am a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Hi, my name is Jim Heinlein, independent agent and owner at Springwater Insurance Group, formerly known as Senior Insurance Services. And we recently decided to make that name change because we're offering so many different other types of insurances in addition to Medicare education and enrollment like we've been doing for 15 years. So if you have questions about Medicare or any other forms of insurances, give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group, 888-2600, or visit us at any of our 5 locations.
Welcome back to this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, 9 minutes after the hour. Clear skies, 25 degrees. High clouds today, high clouds Saturday, cloudy and wet on Sunday. Here's what's making headlines. Newly refurbished Kiwanis Methow Park in Wenatchee hit by vandals sometime Wednesday night, leaving the restrooms covered with spray-painted graffiti. It was one of several reports of graffiti in numerous locations in Wenatchee late Wednesday and early Thursday morning. Last year, Methow Park in South Wenatchee underwent a $2.7 million renovation project, including new bathroom facilities that were installed in December. Work is continuing, by the way, on many of the other park improvements. The Washington State Department of Corrections is preparing to add more prisoner work release facilities in north central Washington. Chelan County and 3 neighboring counties have been identified by the DOC as underserved. Commissioner Kevin Overbay says Chelan County's recently upgraded Regional Justice Center is being put forward as a possible site.
What we have done as Chelan County is we currently have our inmate worker program housing that we had that needed to have a remodel. It's in the midst of that right now. We're taking a look at that inmate worker program, and with the folks that we currently have, really will not have a robust program based upon the inmates that we currently have. And so what we did is we actually put in a proposal to Department of Corrections that say, hey, maybe our facility might be one that you might want to look at, as
Okay.
part of this piece.
So this would not be something where you would be placing a halfway house in some neighborhood?
There is an opportunity for that. They have actually went out for requests for proposals. There were, to my knowledge, at the last meeting, they told us there were 3 properties that did put in as a request. We will be, as a part of the committee, I sit on that committee, we'll be looking at those properties and where they are located in our community, looking at, the proximity to schools, the proximity to neighborhoods. What does this really look like? Is this the best fit for our community?
And then public engagement also.
Absolutely, public engagement all the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so
State legislature appropriated $9.1 million to the Department of Corrections last year for 200 additional work release beds. 50 of those beds have been identified as being needed here in North Central Washington. Kevin Overbay said the state is expected to make a decision sometime within the next month or so on whether and to where to site those facilities. Steve Hare's complete interview with Commissioner Kevin Overbay will air in the back half of this program. The city of Wenatchee is losing their economic development director to a new job on the west side of the state. Steve King, as you see there, is going to join Port Townsend's city staff 1 month from now. He's going to be their new public works director. King has held a lot of posts at Wenatchee since 1997. He's city engineer, community development director, chief of public works. He served under 4 mayors. Most recently, he oversaw the administration's move from their old city hall on Chelan Avenue to their new offices at the old post office right across the street from us. He's going to start his job in Port Townsend on March 23rd. Best of luck to Steve. A rural Antioch man who displayed a knife to a motorist pled guilty this week to 3rd-degree assault and felony harassment. 41-year-old Jesse Lee Jones threatened a hunter scouting for deer. This happened along Crum Canyon Road back in November. Now, during the confrontation, Jones's 64-year-old mother allegedly brandished a small handgun. The hunter, in turn, drew his own pistol to defend himself. No shots were fired. Nobody was hurt. On Wednesday, Chelan County Judge Kristen Ferreira sentenced Jones to 3 months in jail plus a year's probation. His mother, Donna Lee Jones, faces trial next month. Well, the second of 2 men in a Wenatchee drug conspiracy must serve a year and a day in prison. David R. Bishop Jr. had asked for simple probation for his, quote, minor role, end quote, in a drug distribution scheme carried out by James T. McGuire. But on Thursday, U.S. District Chief Judge Thomas O. Rice imposed 366 days plus 5 years of probation. When McGuire was arrested in 2017 for carrying a small amount of methamphetamine, he called Bishop from the jail, asked him to dispose of drugs he kept at his home. Bishop did so, and later police recovered a large bag of heroin, a large bag of methamphetamine, and more than $17,000 in cash. McGuire is already serving a decade in prison. And finally, it's Friday. What's going on this weekend? My guess is a lot. We have an in-house expert, Megan McPherson, with Weekend Events.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. Wenatchee Valley Sportsman Show takes place this Friday through Sunday at the Town Toyota Center. This event will offer consumers a prime opportunity to see the latest in outdoor gear, the newest in fishing boats, motors, and accessories, plus guides and lodges from all over the Northwest and more. Come see the special attractions and learn from the informative seminars presented by outdoor professionals. This exciting show will be packed with attractions and demonstrations, including Lunker Lake, where kids can fish for free. The Blackhorn Drama Guild presents Emma, a pop musical by Eric Price in the Chelan High School Performing Arts Center this Friday through Sunday. Emma is based on the Jane Austen novel of the same name and is packed with songs from every generation. Admission is by donation, so bring the whole family for a fun time. Run Wenatchee, Confluence Health, and Wenatchee Valley Medical Group are putting on the Heartbreaker 5K Fun Run this Saturday at Pybus Public Market. This run takes place during Heart Month to raise awareness about heart disease and about ways to commit to a healthy lifestyle. Register online. And finally, the 14th annual Fly Fishing Film Tour is hitting the road and headed to your backyard with a fresh batch of new films this Saturday at the Icicle Creek Center for the Arts. Anglers young and old will get taken on an adventure featuring cartwheeling steelhead, pristine Australian coastlines, fish brought back from the brink of ruin to jungle streams laden with aggressive fish, and much more. For more information on this weekend's events and others, visit the community calendar at ncwlife.com.
Thank you very much, Megan. Don't forget, wherever you go this weekend, take us along. We are portable because wherever we're televising, whatever programming that we have to offer for you over the weekend, that's on your local cable provider or over the air. We also stream it on our website. Just go to ncwlife.com. What's going on with the news tonight at 5 o'clock with the preview? Here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, the Grant County Work Release Facility in Ephrata will be closed for 3 months because of a staffing shortage. A Rock Island third grader received word this week that he'll be the Douglas County Sheriff's Office's sheriff for a day at Apple Blossom this year. I'll let you know what our weather forecast looks like as we head into the upcoming weekend. And Eric Granstrom will have results of last night's Big 9 basketball tournament action. All that and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Hope to see you then. Dan?
Yep, it's appointment viewing for me, and I hope it is for you too. And we'd love to hear from you, our viewers. Look at the bottom of your screen. That's all the different ways you can get a hold of us. And don't forget, if you want to comment on the performance of this particular program, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I only accept unqualified praise. We're going to take a 1-minute break and come back and do sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 6th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor.
I'm Mike. And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the Doghouse.
Are you in the doghouse?
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks, so bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Back at it at 17 minutes after the hour. Let's do sports. Just like last year, we have a rematch tomorrow night. Eastmont and Wenatchee, last chance to state after last night's results. Eastmont was able to tie West Valley in the third period, but they never actually led. The Rams went on to beat the Wildcats for the district championship. Eastmont led by the 30 points from Isaac Wellborn. Eastmont drops back. They'll take on the Panthers tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Wenatchee punched their ticket. They stayed alive, 60-41, the final over the Davis Pirates last night. Grant Olson had the call on the NCW Life channel.
Right elbow won't take the shot. Now to Blauman. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Blauman to the basket. Good! Right side on the baseline, Galindo, who stays in at the quarter break. Reyes, nice head fake, goes to the basket, and then he's blocked by Chase Lloydhammer. And he's just going to walk it up court. That's exactly what the Panthers need to do. Long left open. He's going to put up the three. Good! 12-point Wenatchee lead. Garrett Long trying to shake loose and get a shot off. Blauman's left open. He's going to put it up. Three, it's good! At the buzzer, and that will end our first half of play. Panthers want to be deliberate on this offensive possession to Garrett Long, right elbow. He's going to drive into the lane. Shot good! Oh, Garrett Long early, the third on him. Long into the lane. A runner again and gets it to go. Tough shot. Now baseline to Galindo. His shot rolls around, no good. Rebound to Long, 5 seconds. Long, Lloydhammer, underneath Dory. Layup is good. How about that? At the buzzer. 3, 2, 1, and that, folks, will do it as the Panthers come away with another win. It's a big one, a District 6 Big 9 tournament win. Our final score tonight, Wenatchee 60 and Davis 41. We are with NCW Life Player of the Game, Garrett Long, unofficially 23 points tonight. And Garrett, you guys, we talked to your coach, Coach Williams, before the game. This game, and your chance to beat Davis is all about tempo, and you guys had the tempo you wanted tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, we knew they'd play fast, so we had to just stay down and, play hard.
You guys did a great job rebounding as well, and I think it was really, the guards played well, but it was really the Lloydhammer brothers down low. It was a big difference tonight.
They really helped us out. Last time we played Davis, we didn't have Chase. He makes a huge difference, so it's nice to have him.
So here we go. Panthers and Wildcats for the fourth time this season. Eastmont High School will be the scene. It's a last chance to stay game. We will have it live right here on the NCW Live channel if you can't make it to the gym. 5:45 pregame, 6 o'clock will be the tip-off. Eric Greinstrom will have the call. We got a little ahead of ourselves yesterday. The District 6 4A girls tournament gets going tonight. Sunnyside plays at Moses Lake for the district championship. Eisenhower will be at West Valley in a loser-out game. The loser of the Sunnyside and Moses Lake game will host the winner of Ike and West Valley for a last chance to state. Pateros and Riverside Christian will play for the District 6 1B championship. Both teams advanced with victories last night at Eastmont High School. Pateros knocked off Antioch 53 to 49, and Riverside Christian earned their way to the championship by just creaming Moses Lake Christian 91 to 55. Championship 1 o'clock tomorrow. The Moses Lake Christian girls are the district champions, a 51 to 43 win over Pateros last night. The Nandies drop back in a last chance to move on Saturday. They'll take on Riverside Christian after they beat Wilson Creek 47 to 37. Tomorrow's consolation game will be at 2:30. The bi-district 5 and 6 2B boys tournament gets underway today at beautiful Quincy High School. Orville takes on Columbia Burbank, and that's followed up by Lake Roosevelt and Liberty Christian. Coming up tomorrow, Liberty Bell and White Swan have a noon tip-off, followed by Brewster and Kittitas for the bi-district title at 7:15. Let's talk about the ladies. Girls play today. Liberty Bell takes on Columbia Burbank, and tomorrow, the first of 3 games. They tip off at 1:45. You got Lake Roosevelt and White Swan doing battle. At 3:30, it's Brewster and Mabton, and then the bi-district title game, Waterville, Mansfield, and Tri-Cities Prep at 5:15 tomorrow. The Caribou Trail League will meet the Northeast A League tomorrow. Their glue crossover games. OMAC travels to Freeman. Cashmere will host Newport. Both games start at 5 o'clock. Both games are loser-out contests. The Central Washington Athletic Conference finishes up their championships at the Sun Dome, while others are still alive in the crossover games. Seal and Toppenish play for the district title. It'll be tomorrow at the Sun Dome at 5 o'clock. East Valley of Yakima has a crossover game at Clarkston. Prosser will host West Valley of Spokane in the other crossover at 7 o'clock. As far as the ladies are concerned, East Valley and Ellisburg will face off for the championship at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Prior to that, in the crossover games, Toppenish will play at Clarkston, and Prosser will host West Valley of Spokane. College basketball, number 2 Gonzaga shook off a 9-point halftime deficit. They went on a big run in the second half, a 21-2 run, knocked off the Dons of San Francisco, 71 to 54 last night. Other men's college basketball action, as you can see here from our friends at Les Schwab: Stanford over Washington, Eastern Washington over Sacramento State, Western Oregon beating Central Washington. That's the MAC Classic. We'll get to that in just a little bit. In women's play last night, the winners were Gonzaga, Eastern Washington, and Central Washington. The women's schedule tonight has number 8 UCLA at Washington State, and the Huskies will host USC at 7 o'clock. Saturday's schedule for women's college basketball, you see it there. Keep a close eye on Gonzaga, who plays at Pepperdine at 2 o'clock, and Central Washington will host Concordia at 5. On Sunday, USC travels to Pullman, and UCLA will be in Seattle to take on the Huskies. The men's schedule tomorrow: Eastern hosts Northern Arizona, Cal's at Washington. You got Gonzaga and BYU. Oh, this will be a good one. And Central Washington will host Concordia. Washington State will host Stanford Sunday at 5 in men's basketball. Today is the first day of MAC Classic XXXII. I believe that's 32. It's in the Tacoma Dome. Take a look. Those are all the wrestlers who will be doing from Moses Lake. Moses Lake has 13 wrestlers. That's all the first-round matchups. Take a look at it there. 6 of those 13 matchups are head-to-head against Meade wrestlers. As far as Eastmont, they head to the MAC Classic with a couple of wrestlers. Wenatchee has 4 wrestlers who will be hitting the mats today and hopefully right out into the weekend. As far as Quincy, they got 4 wrestlers to Tacoma. Freda has 3. Go get them. The local 1A schools right down the line. You got 3 wrestlers from Cascade, 3 from Chelan, 3 from Cashmere, hoping to take home some hardware at state. And best of luck to the Wenatchee girls and the Eastmont ladies. Wenatchee has a couple of girls. Moses Lake has 1. Quincy will have a lady wrestler. All 4 ladies represent the region in MAC Classic 32. Again, it's today and tomorrow at the Tacoma Dome. And the Wenatchee Wild hope to continue their 7-game winning streak. They got the Penticton V's tonight and tomorrow night to wrap up the regular season. Wenatchee heads into the weekend in 3rd place in the interior division. They have 64 points. Vernon and Salmon Arm right behind with 63 points. So the Wild is pretty simple. If they win the next 2, they'll have home ice advantage. If they lose, they need to get a lot of help from other teams. So we'll see what happens. We'll know what the playoff scenario is by this time on Monday. And by the way, just 34 more days until opening day of the baseball season. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday, 25 minutes after the hour. I had 3 choices for the obscure holiday. It's National Grain-Free Day. It's National Sticky Bun Day. But nope, we're going to go with something much more important. It's National Caregivers Day. National Caregivers Day. We want to recognize the tens of millions of people out there who selflessly give their time to care for those people who are ill, disabled, or the elderly. There's some stunning statistics I found. 29% of the U.S. population, about 66 million Americans, are caregivers in one way or another. According to the Department of Labor, over 40 million Americans, age 15 or older, provide unpaid care to the elderly. That's pretty cool. So what do we do today? Thank somebody who's a caregiver, whether they're paid or unpaid. Send them a card, send them a note, thank them for the work they do. Give them the day off, take care of the role of caring, and give the caregiver themselves a day off. It is National Caregivers Day, always the third Friday in February. Today in history, happy birthday to something we don't really need much anymore, the telephone directory. The very first telephone directory was published on this date in 1878, 142 years ago, in New Haven, Connecticut. All the way until 1991, phone companies could actually copyright the telephone listings until the Supreme Court stepped in 1991 and ruled in Feist v. Rural that telephone companies cannot copyright telephone listings because copyright protects works of, well, creativity and not just writing down people's phone numbers. That doesn't count. Of course, people don't really use phone books much anymore. In the 21st century, phone books are being increasingly criticized as just a colossal waste. A lot of North American cities passed ordinances banning telephone books because it just got, you're cutting down trees, greenhouse gases, the whole 9 yards. What did the industry, the telephone book industry, do? They sued and won the right to put telephone books on your front porch. I haven't used a telephone book in 15 years. I do this. Call Bob. Works easier. Anyway, happy birthday, so to speak, to the telephone directory. On this date 135 years ago, it took them forever, but the Washington Monument was finally dedicated on this day, February 21st, 1885. The construction of the Washington Monument began in 1848, and then nothing happened between 1854 and 1877. A couple of things happened. Number one, they ran out of money, and number two, there was that whole Civil War thing that kind of took precedence. But then they finally, after the Civil War, they went back to work in 1877. And you can tell at the Washington Monument, you can tell where it stopped and where they started again because they used different kinds of stone, and you can see where they had stopped and then began the construction again. By the way, the Washington Monument was the tallest structure in the world from 1884 to 1889. Happy birthday to the Washington Monument. And 48 years ago today, nobody thought this was ever going to happen. Richard Nixon went to China and met with Chairman Mao. Historians, scholars, journalists, almost all agree, and they rarely agree, but they all agree that this was maybe the most important overseas visit by a U.S. president anywhere at any time. Nixon in China. People couldn't believe it. There are some who still can't believe it. Let's do some birthdays for you. David Geffen, the American businessman who's made his life very good. There's a fascinating documentary on David Geffen. Just Google it. You got to watch it. It's really good. He's 77 years old today. He got his big start. He was the manager of Jackson Browne, and in 1969, he tried to get Jackson Browne signed to a major record label. Nobody would sign Jackson Browne, so along with his buddy Elliot Roberts, David Geffen founded Asylum Records so Jackson Browne could have a recording contract. And Asylum Records, of course, would eventually have the Eagles, Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan recorded with him for a while, Linda Ronstadt, Warren Zevon, David Geffen, of course, got into film production and everything else. He's done all right. He's 77 years old today. And happy birthday to C-3PO. Anthony Daniels is 74 years old today. He is the only actor to have appeared in every Star Wars film. And interestingly enough, Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker was R2-D2, and Anthony Daniels was C-3PO. They were on screen, they had great chemistry. Off screen, Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker didn't like one another. Little Hollywood gossip for you. It's the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with an opinion from our good friend Mike Magnotti. Best wishes, Mike, on your speedy recovery. He's got a new hip. Can't wait to see Mike again when he comes back to the office. And then Steve Hare's in focus conversation with Chelan County Commissioner Kevin Overbay. Oh, it was a good stuff, too. You don't want to miss that. All coming up between now and the top of the hour. You're watching a Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Experience the relaxation that a Bullfrog Spa provides. Visit Pool to Spa Services on Worthen Street, down from Pybus.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine in style at Highlander Bar and Grill in East Wenatchee. Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner with dine-in or takeout options. Highlander Grill's friendly staff is here to serve you 7 days a week this winter. Contact Chelan, Highlander Grill's site coordinator, to schedule your corporate event or special occasion.
My name is Anaisa Lemus, and I teach at John Newberry Elementary. I had a tooth in the front that was just always causing me problems. It was just happening so regularly. I went to go get a root canal done, and the root canal didn't help a whole lot because then it came back. Both of my parents went to Dr. Divis's office. They really recommended him because he had done such a great job on their teeth. I went and really have had a really pleasant experience with him. He just made me feel really at ease with everything. He was really confident with what he was doing. He said, you know, this is one of his favorite parts of his job, which really made it easier for me because, you know, when you're really passionate about something, you know, they're going to do a good job. As a teacher, my students, you know, I'll tell them randomly sometimes, oh yeah, with my fake tooth. They're always so shocked. Like, what? It looks like your real tooth. And I'm really happy with the results now.
This is Dr. John Divis. Please call us today.
Hey, this is Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, if there's another school shooting in this country, the blame in part is going to fall at the feet of those people who've been crying for more governmental legislation and more restrictive gun laws. Now, maybe these things will help, maybe, but they're only going to help in the future. The only thing that has the hope of stopping whoever is out there right now who already has the guns to use is restricted access to schools with metal detectors and trained armed professionals on scene. And I'm sorry, that's true. Now, of course, this is totally unacceptable to those who say more guns won't solve the problem. Well, this attitude of being unwilling to recognize that nothing the government is going to do tomorrow is going to stop a school shooting today, they're going to be part of the blame for, God forbid, another school shooting. It's not a matter of more guns. The guns are already there, and that's the reality. And this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
A better grip, right when you need it. The 2020 Nissan Altima has tech you can't get in a quarter Camry, like available intelligent all-wheel drive. This is instant confidence. This is Nissan Intelligent Mobility.
Nissan has some of the best-selling cars and SUVs in the country, and they're all here at Town Nissan, up behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
My awesome is being able to share my passion for yoga. I found yoga in my mid-40s to help me kind of de-stress and calm down, and it actually changed my life. Washington Trust believed in me. I felt like, okay, they got my back. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna go for it. It actually makes you feel like more brave. I do have a lot of awesome in my life.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, we'll help you get there.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Welcome to another edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Steve Hare. Joining me in studio today is Chelan County Commissioner Kevin Overbay. Kevin, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Steve.
You guys had a full agenda this week.
We really have.
Really a lot of discussions going on, and I think you have some news to share with us regarding the jail and your recent visit with the jail director.
Absolutely, yeah. Bill Larson, who has been with us since around July of 2018, has decided that he's done what he can for us there at the jail, and so he's looking to move on, and so his last day will be April 30th.
That was a long interim term there.
It really was. We brought him in initially under a 6-month idea that he'd be able to take a look at things and give us ideas about exactly what needed to happen in the jail to move forward.
Well, he came in during a time of a dispute with labor as well. I think at that time the employees of the jail didn't feel safe.
Yeah, there was a lot of different factors. There was some safety issues within the jail. There was some relationship issues, communication issues. There was just a myriad of things that, the timing couldn't be better to have Bill come in, give us a full assessment as to what his observations were of what needed to change within the facility. The organizational structure changed a little bit. We basically had a director, assistant director organization prior to Bill's arrival, and after Bill's arrival, he assessed that he felt that there would be a need to have a director, but then 2 chiefs that would actually fall under the director instead of an assistant director. And so there would be a chief of operations and a chief of administration. The operations piece, of course, the day-to-day operations of the facility and the teams that work within the facility. And then the administration piece that would be responsible for policies and updating policies through Lexipol, as well as looking at the training elements and then some ancillary programming pieces that go along, like electronic home monitoring and some other pieces that we have within the facility. And so basically he provided a 38-page proposal that at a cost of $1.3 million to make these changes. Of course, I told him, I kind of jokingly said, I'm glad I was sitting down when I read this. And but we were able to put a couple of things into place and said, I need you to pare this back a little bit, just because of the costs associated, but let's not pare it back to where we lose the effectiveness. And so over the last 18 or so months, he's been very effective with regards to the organization, with regards to some cost savings pieces, both in overtime as well as in staffing. And additionally, we've been able to do some additional pieces, both some safety improvements. We just approved a week or so ago the closed circuit television piece, which is the camera system within the jail.
Better surveillance.
Yep, and we are moving forward with that. We are also are moving forward with our mail scanner, which basically scans all the incoming and outgoing mail, for the facility. In addition to that, we have a body scanner, and that's for both the Department of Corrections folks that we house in the facility when they're coming in initially to the facility, either providing a self-report or as part of a piece that is done by DOC, as well as
DOC meaning the Department of Corrections.
Mhm. As well as the folks that are part of our work program as well. And what that will do is that will be able to scan for contraband both on the person and so forth as they're coming in, as well as in body cavities. The additional piece also is the implementation of a canine program, and so we will actually have a canine officer that will be has been selected. We'll be going to training in May with the Department of Corrections in Shelton, and then we'll be coming back with a dog and training and fully trained to be able to use that canine within the facility as well to do searches for contraband within the facility, because that was one of the biggest issues one of the biggest safety issues we had was contraband pieces. Additionally, looking at cuff ports and doors, some upgrades. This facility was built in about 1984, and it was built for more misdemeanor, not for felonious inmates. But what we've seen is we've really seen a change in the population, and so we've had it's more geared now at the felony than it is on the misdemeanor. The other piece that we are facing in that was we actually have increased our medical staff with a couple of nurse positions, as well as increased, gave authorization a couple of weeks ago to bring on another mental health specialist.
Good.
And so that will assist Ms. Carlson, who is our mental health professional now in the facility.
Kevin, it occurs to me too that it just came up that the county was just involved in a recent court settlement, I believe, that had to do with the incarceration of somebody with mental health. And there had been a settlement, and I was just curious, since you're mentioning some of these new improvements that have been made and adding mental health staff, is that as a result of this settlement, or what kinds of changes that are occurring as a result of that?
I will say that these were already in place, but it basically was some elements of the settlement, but realistically it was already in the process of being done. And it was not because of the settlement that it's being done, it's because we recognize that 80% of the folks that we have in the jail have either a substance abuse or mental health issue. And so it is overwhelming when you stop and you think about 200 inmates, you have 160 of them have some form of mental health or substance abuse issue, which, one of the factors that we face and that the taxpayers face in this particular piece is they have to pay, when the inmate comes in, when the person's incarcerated, if they are on Medicaid, that Medicaid gets suspended. And so their Medicaid benefits are suspended. Now, this is for somebody who is booked into the jail. And so if they're awaiting trial, they haven't even been convicted yet, but they're incarcerated awaiting trial or whatever it may be, those Medicaid benefits are suspended. So here we have citizens that are paying for Medicaid, through their taxes, but now they're basically being hit again for whatever medical treatments that are being provided as part of the budget of the jail. We have to provide the medical treatments to these folks. And so what we're looking at on the national level is to be able to see a change in that to where, those Medicaid benefits are not suspended until the person is convicted.
I see.
And that way it would actually be a cost savings to the citizens as a whole. Additionally, right now, under the program through the Healthcare Authority in Washington State is one of 34 states right now that just suspend the benefits. Prior to that, prior to 2015, when we did that, basically the benefits were actually closed. And so by suspending the benefits, once the person is leaving the facility, they're able to go ahead and get those benefits reinstated right after they leave. And so it shortens the time frame so they can continue to get that continuum of care after the fact.
But still, that break in care can cause a problem.
It really can.
Not just for the inmate, but for the county.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for us, we're really trying to look at solutions. One of the conversations that we've been having was talking about a regional diversion facility.
Yes.
And what that looks like. And so it's been an idea that I've been working on for a little over a year, talking with other commissioners of both Okanagan, Douglas, and Grant counties, which basically is also the coverage of the Accountable Communities of Health piece, is does this seem to make sense? We're often seeing...
You're looking for an actual facility?
We are actually looking at a facility. You know, how would we go about doing that? So we're in the planning stages right now of what this looks like.
Why wouldn't Parkside serve that purpose?
You know, Parkside would be able to serve a portion of that purpose, but it wouldn't be able to serve the full purpose of what we're looking at. And so when we look at this, when we talk about a diversion facility, you think about, and I'm actually going to kind of pare it back just a little bit, take it right to the boots on the ground. So you have folks, our law enforcement are often tied up with calls involving mental health, mental illness, behavioral health issues. And so basically what we have here in the Valley and have been under a WASPIC grant, a Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs grant, as well as a True Blood dollars, is Catholic Charities has been doing diversion within the community with law enforcement, where they will send a dedicated crisis responder to that scene, and that dedicated crisis responder will then work with that person to get them the mental health assistance that they need. Typically in the past, without the diversion programs, a lot of times law enforcement is tied up for great many hours trying to figure out what to do with this person, whether it be taking them to an emergency room or trying to deal with the mental illness piece, and oftentimes coming up blank as far as facilities. The person may have committed a crime in the process, and that's why law enforcement is contacting them. But realistically, they committed the crime because of mental health or behavioral health issues. They didn't commit the crime because they were malicious in intent. It's because of the condition. And so oftentimes these folks are incarcerated and are put into a system that then, our jails have become the mental health facilities.
Well, there's also the issue statewide of mental health hospitals and trying to, let's say, get away from the large institutions and rather go to the community-based facilities, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. The state is looking actually to decentralize both eastern and western states. What they're looking to do is just make them forensic only, which basically is dealing pretty much with criminal elements. So what they're doing is actually pushing those services back down into the communities. And so what we're looking at is, and that goes back to the Parkside. Parkside is kind of a community piece where you have crisis beds, folks that are in crisis.
But that's purely voluntary.
But absolutely, it's voluntary. There are, the law requires 4 mandatory committals, that DCR can actually do that, dedicated crisis responder can do that for about a 72-hour period. But those are pretty infrequent. And so, when you look at the bed space that Parkside has, it's 32 beds. Well, you have folks that, have crisis, beds, and then you have basically folks that are in beds for more of a
You got rehabilitation.
well, yeah, it's a rehabilitation piece, and so they're kind of split up, kind of 16 and 16. What we're looking at is a facility where folks would be able to either voluntarily commit, would be able to be given a location to go that would be maybe a non-voluntary committal, but also would have a segment that would be both pre and post-sentencing facility that would be able to be provided so that these folks were not just sitting in a jail, with limited resources, that we would actually have staff that would be able to accommodate their needs both pre and post-sentencing.
Okay, so.
And it'd be for the 4-county area. Miami-Dade County just recently acquired a federal building that they revamped, did about a $44 million upgrade to the building. And they're one of the first in the country to have a diversion facility. They have 200 beds. They run a staff of 23. It costs them between $1 and $2 million a year for the operations of that facility, and just recently opened. And so I'll be traveling down there to take a look at their facility, to really look at the nuances of that. We'll also be looking at some of the programs that are going on in Island County, in the state of Washington, Pierce County, and Snohomish County, with regards to the diversion program, where they actually have law enforcement that are in plainclothes that respond to these calls with dedicated crisis responders, so that they de-escalate the situation as much as possible. And then basically, for the lack of a better term, are kind of the brokers of where does this person need to go based upon what their crisis is at this
Okay,
time
okay.
to
So it's
provide
like a
that
triage
assistance.
facility.
It really is. And so we'll be speaking with those 3 counties as well as to looking at what their program looks like.
Mhm.
The True Blood dollars are going to soon run out. The WASPIC dollars are going to soon run out for diversion. And
Would you prefer to see such a facility in Chelan County, or, I mean, if it's a 4-county area, I guess it could be located anywhere?
It really could be located anywhere that we really felt would be the best place for it. And so, as we take a look at the jail facility that we currently have, one of the suggestions that was made is it possible to retrofit that facility for that? And then do we look to build a new jail that would be more accommodating as we move forward to the clientele that basically are in that facility?
Right.
And so those are conversations that are being had right now. We want to vet this thing out, and of course, we're going to definitely need to get citizen input. I stop and I think about the families in our community, and I don't think there's a family out there that either has not been directly or indirectly impacted by mental health and or substance abuse. They either know somebody or related to somebody that is
Well,
involved
we're
in
just a
that.
microcosm of what is really a national issue right now.
It really is. And, National Association of Counties is really looking at asking Congress to change legislation on the Medicaid piece to allow for that streamline of the process, but also that stream of funding to be able to be utilized for these folks that have not been convicted.
Very good.
And the ability for us to have a diversion facility and use that funding instead of taxpayer dollars that are funding that currently right now in our jail facility would be a cost savings to the
A lot of
citizens.
attention being paid, I think, to criminal justice right now and mental health for that matter, but you're also looking at maybe creating or establishing a work release program here with the state here in Chelan County?
Well, we have actually been contacted by Department of Corrections, and the engrossed substitute House Bill 1109, which was passed in the 2019 session, earmarked $9.1 million to Department of Corrections to add 200 beds to their work release program. They've identified 4 counties that they feel were underserved, and what they mean by that is they have folks that are incarcerated as a part of Department of Corrections, overview, that when they release them back to their home, county of residence. And
These are halfway homes, somewhat.
well, yeah, they basically when they release, whether they're fully have fulfilled their obligation, or if they are on probation or whatever it might be, or on parole, then basically it would potentially be halfway housed or whatever. This particular facility that they're looking for, it would in our county area, which is actually for Grant, Okanagan, Douglas, and Chelan County, would be a 50-bed facility. The $9.1 million was earmarked for 200 beds, 50 of which they're looking to place in our community somewhere. So we've been in meetings with them since November, and they are looking, continually are looking for folks that are interested in sitting on committee. The next meeting will be the second Wednesday of March, and at the police department. But what we have done as Chelan County is we currently have our inmate worker program housing that we had that needed to have a remodel. It's in the midst of that right now. We're taking a look at that inmate worker program, and with the folks that we currently have, really will not have a robust program based upon the inmates that we currently have. And so what we did is we actually put in a proposal to Department of Corrections that say, hey, maybe our facility might be one that you might want to look at, as
Okay.
part of this piece.
So this would not be something where you would be placing a halfway house in some neighborhood?
There is an opportunity for that. They have actually went out for requests for proposals. There were, to my knowledge, at the last meeting, they told us there were 3 properties that did put in as a request. We will be, as a part of the committee, I sit on that committee, we'll be looking at those properties and where they are located in our community, looking at the proximity to schools, the proximity to neighborhoods. What does this really look like? Is this the best fit for our community?
And then public engagement also.
Absolutely, public engagement all the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, right now, the RFP closed on the 13th of February. And so we'll know in the next couple of weeks what those properties are. I asked actually if they could provide that to me in advance. I would like to go look at those properties in advance. But basically, we'll take a look at those, and we'll look at the other proposal that we as the county have provided to them and see, is that the better fit for our community? We already have all the elements are in place for that particular facility, but there again, it comes down to costs. And so what is Department of Corrections willing to pay for a facility in our community, that would meet most all of their needs.
Very good. Kevin Overbay, Chelan County Commissioner for Chelan County's 1st District.
Correct.
And we thank you for coming in. We'll let it go at that, I guess, and we'll talk to you guys in a couple of weeks. I believe we have Bob Booger coming in next time.
Yeah, Bob will be up next time.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us here on In Focus on NCW Live.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Local breweries are on a row in Wenatchee. Brewers Row, that is. Start with Wenatchee Valley Brewing Company near Riverside 9 Apartments. Continue south down Riverside Drive to Columbia Valley Brewing. Then it's off to Badger Mountain Brewing on the corner of Arrondo and Columbia Streets. Further south on Columbia is 509 Beer Works. Each has its own charm, unique menu, and some of the best locally made brew around. Find it all on Brewers Row along the waterfront in downtown Wenatchee.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Are you like many who are lacking in their retirement plan but are skeptical to talk to an advisor? Are you concerned about where you should put your money or who to trust? At Solomon Financial, we are more about the people we serve than policies or products. We are a fee-based fiduciary with the mission of giving you the peace of mind so you can live the retirement of your dreams. If you have any of these questions or concerns, we'd welcome you to come see us.
Hey, welcome back to this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Lots of sunshine, 25 degrees outside of our studios. Let's walk you through the forecast one more time. First of all, snow? Yeah, it's possible. Certainly in the upper elevations. There's no question about that. This is what the National Weather Service thinks is going to happen as far as snow Sunday on into Monday. Most of it early Sunday morning. I mean really early Sunday morning. For the mountain passes, it'll be Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, but they are pretty confident that there's going to be at least moderate snow, if not a heavy snow, over the major mountain passes, including Stevens and Snoqualmie. It will taper off to some isolated snow showers on Monday. It's also going to be a little breezy up in the Cascades, but as far as Wenatchee Valley is concerned, probably not. Just a little bit of light snow. Grant kind of thinks we might get a little skiff of snow. Whatever snow we get, again, it's supposed to be early Sunday morning, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Whatever snow we're going to get, it's not going to last very long because, as you can see from the National Weather Service, the forecast is calling for continued mild temperatures. The high-pressure ridge, which has been dominating our weather all week long, is already beginning to shift out of alignment. That's going to allow for some increasing clouds today. High clouds will be filtering through the valley, and we'll have about a 50% cloud cover by the time the sun goes down tonight at 5:33. We'll top off at about 45 degrees, 31 for the overnight low tonight because we'll have a few clouds holding the heat in. Increasing clouds again on Saturday. We'll top off at 48. Saturday night, very early in the morning, we could get a light snowflake or two. There's about a 30% chance of that. Whatever snow we get, we'll switch over to rain by the middle of the morning on Sunday. We'll get all the way up to about 46 degrees. Also a little breezy at times on Sunday here for the Wenatchee Valley. And then another ridge of high pressure comes visiting us, and I'm all for that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with very warm temperatures as we start to see February slip away. Mountain passes are fantabulous. You got no problems at all. Live shot of I-90. Bare dry, no advisories, no restrictions. You're good to go there. Stevens Pass is fine. Lots of asphalt. Clean the lens, DOT. No advisories, no restrictions on Stevens Blewett. You're fine. You're good to go. And again, as far as snow in the mountain passes, a little bit of light snow Saturday night. They're expecting 4 to 8 inches of snow during the course of the day on Sunday, and then an additional 3 to 7 inches of snow on Sunday night. So Sunday afternoon into Sunday night will be the diciest of the driving conditions. Don't forget, we will have Wenatchee Panther Eastmont Wildcat boys basketball winter to state tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. If you can't make it to the gym, you can watch it right here live in high definition. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.